All right. Good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we're going to do a continuation on our discussion last week on basically the characteristics of the top producing real estate agents in the country. What do they do? So before we get too far in, I'd like to invite the CEO of Clearview Mortgage to join us, Bill Sides. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. All right, cool. So I think we had a lot of really good reaction from last week's training. I think it really resonated with a lot of people. So this should be a good continuation on that. So it's just really good to get our mindset in the right direction, and also just find out what other people are doing. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. People have the blueprint for us, so let's copy that and be successful ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Kev, real quick, is your volume's a little light? Is there a way to turn that up?
Let me see. Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I'll see if I can turn that up. While you tell us about Clearview Mortgage.
Yeah, so good morning, everybody. I thought just spend a few minutes reviewing the Clearview website in case you have not been on our website. It's really informative in the sense that you get an idea of who we are as a company, and that it's not just me in the world of Clearview. So Kevin's pulled up Meet the Team, and obviously there's a younger version of myself, probably carrying a photo 8 years old.
So, well, agents never do that, Bill.
No, I bet if we took a poll of how many agents have their headshots,
how long ago the current headshot?
Yeah, I always it's a good reminder of my former self, but that's great. But yeah, so we have a really good team of loan officers at Clearview, and so I think sometimes we feel that I'm the one-man show over here, but that's really not the case. And if you scroll down, Kevin, you can see that we have Debbie, we've got Amy Carr, we've got Scott Lanterman, Hugo Rojas, and he also speaks fluent Spanish. So for anybody that has Hispanic or Latino buyers and needs someone to help translate loan application, help translate any portion of the transaction, Hugo is a great asset for that purpose.
Yeah, great guy too. Hugo is a really awesome part of the team. Glad to have him.
What's that, Kev?
I said he's a great part of the team. It's really awesome to have Hugo.
No, for sure. And if you're working in a California real estate market, it's definitely something that is an asset and is a necessity. And as good as my Spanish is, and all the years of college that I took Spanish, probably doesn't quite meet the mark when it comes to discussing a financial transaction. So
right.
It's good to have someone to help you through that and explain things if you do need those services. So additionally, you can also see the investors that we work with. So I think that's obviously a informative piece of information. And Kevin will scroll down to that now.
Yeah.
But you can see who our investor partners are at the bottom. So you have United Wholesale, Home Point Financial, Caliber Home Loans, Paramount Residential Mortgage Group, N2 Funding, Royal Pacific, AAG, and Citadel. And AAG, we were going to actually have, obviously the rep, I talked about bringing the rep on today for explaining what a reverse mortgage purchase is and how it works. Fortunately, she could not make it today. We're going to try to reschedule her for next Wednesday. So we will get her on there because I'm really interested in getting the finer details of that as well. I think that's a really interesting tool. But so you can see our investor partners. These are all the people that we work with and the banks that we have options on looking at, pricing and different scenarios and different loan products. And a nice feature that Kevin has helped embed into the website is a secure loan application. So if you have a client that needs to get pre-approved right away, they can start with this loan application off the website. You can either link to it off of an email, or you can send them directly to the company loan application. And once they fill out and submit the loan application, it gets directed to our company team immediately. So as soon as they're done and they click submit, it gets sent right through our system into our email, and we see it immediately. So we can at least start reviewing it, which is nice. And so that's just a good feature. And I just want to,
and so that's a really good point, Bill, because all you have to do is take this URL right here, copy it, right, and send it to your buyer in a link, right, in a email.
Exactly.
And you can even do that, from the cell phone. So you, again, just using technology. You guys are now, because you're part of Alta Realty Group, you are technology wizards. And we actually, of course, give you the tools so you can be a wizard with all this stuff, and you don't have to know it front and back, right?
No, 100%. And I encourage you, if you do need something, or if I've worked with you in the past, that's great. Obviously, still reach out to me, still contact me. But if I'm not available or I don't pick up, sometimes I'm on the phone, sometimes I'm in meetings and doing various things like we all are. I encourage you to reach out to Debbie or Amy or Scott. Introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm with the Alta team. I need to get a pre-approval out. Most everybody will work on the weekend, of course, and they're more than happy to take your call and to get to know you and help you through your pre-approval processes.
For sure. And then we also have amazing processors in our back office. Kim Dat does a great job. I mean, she is just a bulldog for pushing these files through. So the team is solid.
Yeah. So I thought it was a worthy few minutes just to go through that, so everyone kind of understands who the team is and how easy it is to get the loan application submitted through our website, and then who our investor partners are.
Right. And then, so we are going to continue our discussion here. And, but I do want to go through, we did have a situation last week, and let me bring on Travis Breton, our corporate broker. Let me bring Travis on here. Good morning, Travis. Can you hear us?
Good morning. How's it going?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, so Travis, we wanted to go through that situation that happened the other week with one of our agents with respect to possession of the home. So Bill, you and Travis went through this extensively, so maybe you guys can kind of explain what happened, and we'll use that as a good learning experience for other agents.
Yeah, I'll let Travis kind of run through it since he's the broker here. But I think it's something that it is good from time to time. We can use little anecdotal or such scenarios that come up through the real estate process or through different transactions. And we don't, it's not like we're calling an agent out. It's not about that. It's about, and in this case, the agent didn't really appear to do anything wrong, but was accused of doing something wrong. I'll let Travis go through it, but it's good just to be aware of these situations and how they can come up and how they can affect the brokerage, affect you, potentially your license, So, Travis, why don't you take it away?
So this one had kind of multiple things going on. I guess, so what had happened is we had a kind of an early recording in the day. It recorded around, like 1:30 or so is when we got the confirmation, and I don't want to go into too much detail about everything, but the listing agent, so we were representing the buyer on this one, and the listing agent had made an accusation that she went over there to get her lockbox and key out of there, and she actually opened the door to the house without permission. So that's something you shouldn't do if you're doing that. But she looked inside, and the house had already been started working on because it was going to be a flip home. So they had already removed a lot of kitchen cabinets and stuff. And mind you, this is a very small house. So, by the time she had gone over there, which was late in the evening, like 8:30, she thought that our agent had given the buyer access to the home early, like days early was her accusation. So we had a pretty good timeline. Our agent did a pretty good job of, having texts and things like that, and advising the buyer not to go over there until possession, so on and so forth. But when our agent did the walkthrough, and most agents don't, he didn't take any pictures of the place for confirmation of, condition. So it was hard for us in a way to prove that there was no way that the buyer was there, previously doing work. So, our recommendation to him at the time was, and to every agent, is actually to snap some photos when you do your walkthrough to prove the condition of the home, prove appliances are there, prove work was done if you had work done on the home, and just stick them in your file. Because I gave him the example when I was young in my career. I had done a walkthrough, and we closed later that day, and literally in between that time, the appliances got stolen out of the house. It was a vacant house. And so I couldn't prove that, the appliances were there when I did the walkthrough. And so I ended up buying, a new stove for the house, just to, keep everyone happy. But yeah, so, when you're doing your walkthroughs, just, cover your own butt and take some photos, take, some documentation, things like that. It's always good to have in the file. The other thing is, I know we're working, some agents work kind of everywhere, and we have a license to sell in California, so obviously you can. But if you're working on a property that's an hour away, hour and a half away, and it's a bit of a drive for you and kind of a grind, don't let that hamper your responsibilities on the property. So if you accidentally take the key home or something from the lockbox, you have to drive back over there, and as much as that sucks, you have to do it. I mean, if you're taking the business an hour and a half away, that's just part of, that transaction. So don't let distance become, a factor in how you perform your duties.
Well said.
Transaction as well. So.
Yeah, so good learning experience. Just like Travis had to learn, he had to buy some appliances. That stings, and you remember those things pretty actively, right?
And I've had accusations since then, and I have photos.
There you go.
So what do you?
Well, I actually had a scenario very similar to this. I was working for Prudential. I was a brand new agent. This is like my third or fourth sale. And I had a mentor. His name was Kano Ku. He was one of the top volume agents in Orange County. So I was lucky to get in with him and just see, transaction after transaction, getting a lot of reps in seeing what's going on. Well, I had a client who it was a high school buddy. His name was Jason Chang, and he was buying a house in Costa Mesa. And so we thankfully got past the appraisal. And then he, without any permission, decided to start demoing the house.
Yikes.
And I mean, we're still like 2 weeks out from closing. And I'm, without using a derogatory word, I am blanking my pants when I find out. I'm just going like, what? I call him up, well, Jason, what are you doing? Here I am. I'm just going like, I'm going to be in jail. I'm going to be, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but it is something to be aware of, because people, and in this case that Travis explained, is not some, we uncovered that our agent didn't do anything wrong, but it was perceived wrongdoing, and we were able to sort it out. But clients will sometimes do stuff that you're not, that you don't approve or ask. It's just really have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, well said. All right,
and I do
well,
like,
thanks,
Travis,
Guy.
too, the pictures. The pictures is super important for the walkthrough. I mean, especially nowadays, we live in a litigious society. People are going to take any, probably, hope, you know, not to deem people bad, but people will sometimes take every inch they can get, or they may be accusatory in something, or you just got to be protecting yourself from the brokerage at all times.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do live in that world where there are some bad eggs that have no problem taking advantage of those situations, right?
Yeah, and we have to remember that we are paying a premium for these houses right now. I mean, more than we've ever paid, and clients want some of that money back sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially on the buyer side. So, protect yourself on that. Take pictures, document. You know, that way, there, if claims arise afterwards, you have, you know, a leg to stand on, because it is more prevalent right now. You know, they're forking out a lot of money for these homes, and you know, whether you did something right or wrong, they want some of that money back.
And guess what they're going to go after? They're going to go after your commission.
Yep.
They always do.
Yep. Every time.
So keep the guard up, guys. All right, good. So thanks for that, guys. That's just important to go over that kind of stuff so we all are aware. So getting back to our discussion of being a top producing realtor and what it takes, you know, we went through a lot of different things last week. Some of this will be, you know, a little bit of repeat, but it's just so key. So always keep the marketing department open, right? Your marketing system should be working for you 24/7. You should have, you know, Instagram and Facebook advertisements that never stop. You know, you should never stop those things, right? So it's rare, you know, a top producing agent, it's rare that they don't have some kind of campaign going, right? It's almost, top producing agents normally have some kind of campaigns going at all the time, right? They're always generating leads. So that's really, really important. Now, a really, really key thing that I've been very successful in my career by doing this is blocking time out to do certain things that bring you closer to your goal. So blocking time out means I'm going to take an hour to do prospecting. And if a client calls, if something else happens that tries to derail my thought process, I'm going to respectfully, you know, let that person know that I'm available in an hour. That way, that's a lot of different things that go along with that. First of all, I'm controlling my time, right? If you're in control of your time, you're controlling what's going on in your day. You don't let chaos rule the day. You are in control. So blocking out my time has helped me tremendously because I know that I'm going to take this hour and I'm going to get this thing done. And that thing, whatever it is, it's going to bring me closer to my goal. And a lot of times that's prospecting. That's sitting down and going through your database and making sure that you're getting back to the people that you need to get back to. You're touching base with old clients. You're touching base with people you haven't talked to in a long time. So, you know, you're blocking time out to do that. You're not letting things, infiltrate that space. So, you know, in a nutshell, there's two ways to be successful in real estate. By default, you can live in the same area for years where everyone knows you and eventually sends you business because you're awesome. Or by design, time block a relatively small portion of each business day to proactively generate new leads. A lot of you are living in new areas, you know, where you don't have that big network and you're kind of starting from scratch. So you need to, you know, proactively block time out to create those leads and to create those connections in that new area that you're in. And then, you know, number two here is top real estate agents focus on listings. You know, we do have a lot of really good buyers agents out there, but, you know, in order to control your income, you really do need to focus on listings, or I believe it's an important thing to focus on listings. And that's what the top agents do. They generally focus on listings. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be a buyer's agent and you're not going to double end every deal you can, but doing that focus on listings and trying to get those listing appointments is what your aim is. So if a real estate agent is working more than 65 hours a week, not closing more than 45 transactions annually, the agent either has a time management problem or is working with far too many buyers than sellers. So you can handle 4 times as many listing sides than buyer sides at the same time. Think about that. So top producing real estate agents always focus their lead generation activities on the listing side, if you can, right? And you can. So number 3, build a referral business. This is massive. We all know this, but it can't be emphasized enough. So first thing real estate agents should do is gather everyone they know and put them into one place. CRM, right? Your agent marketing CRM or your Lion Death CRM, whatever you're using, where you can easily access their info to contact them regularly and automatically, right? You don't have to be, doing every one of these touches by hand. You can automate a lot of this stuff. So very, very important to do that. Don't be afraid to prospect, right? You have to prospect. You have to be calling people. Real estate agents looking for immediate business, sure. Top agents know that the quickest conversion ratios come from contacting FSBOs, expired listings, stuff like that. Obviously, also, your sphere of influence, huge. So although many agents are reluctant to reach out to people that they don't know, these people who typically want to sell their homes right now, right? So these are the FSBOs and the expired listings people. They failed at trying to sell their home, big surprise, and now they need somebody to help them out. So we all know FSBOs are a pretty darn good way to drum up some business. Real estate scripts. These are really, really good. I've got, links to great scripts for you guys to use. Just ask. And I think last week we saw that graphic that said 100% of the top producing agents use a script. They all use a script, right? Or at least they know a script in their head. They know the succession. If it's not a quote unquote script, they know the succession of questions that they have to ask every time, and they understand the information that needs to be gleaned. So as the better you get at the right questions, right? And then we'll get down here. I think we get into a little spot where it's like, we don't have to take every deal, but we also want to just make sure that we're asking the right questions, so we're not wasting our time and we're not wasting the other person's time. Time is your number one asset that you have. So be of service while lead generating. So as not to bother the general public when prospecting for new business, top real estate agents always tie the reason they're contacting people in with providing some type of value. We talk about this all the time. Get a report together for these people. Send them a marketing report. Send them a community update. Send them something of value. Always try to create something of value to give for free to your prospects. So, when you're marketing a listing, try coordinating these activities with opportunities to generate new business at the same time. For example, when calling neighbors around a listing, make part of your conversation about if they know anybody else that could be looking to sell, right? Always be of service to the community. Number 7, leverage work to others. Yes, building a business means, creating people that do some of the work for you, so you can focus on your top qualities. So when real estate agents constantly do not have time to prospect, that's what you should be doing with your time, then you're not able to grow, right? So if you've got an administrative assistant or even a virtual assistant these days, you can hire virtual assistants to do some of this work. TCs, you got to be hiring these people to do some of the work for you, so you can spend your time prospecting and perhaps not doing some of the minutia. So you'll see most of the top agents, they have a team. They have other people that are working for them, getting some of this other minutia, as I like to call it, done. And minutia is stuff that is very time consuming, but doesn't really bring you towards your goal, but it has to get done, right? So prospecting is something that you can do to get you towards your goal, right? That's where you need to be. So maybe just very, very important. Always keep that in mind. If you can get people to do stuff for you, you're going to be ahead of the game. This is kind of fun. Number 8, the lightning round of questions. What's the least effective form of marketing that others should avoid? Broker, open houses. Now, that's not a bad thing if you're trying to network with other, other agents and you don't have any listings and you want to get some information, you want to like take some pictures and kind of drum up some cool stuff for social media. But that's probably the least effective form of marketing. What keeps you motivated? Being of service to people. Yes, that should be the one thing that keeps you motivated, right? And here's a fun little deal. So number 3, you've got 30 days, no database, and only $1,000. What do you do? How are you going to get, a sale? So preview properties, knock on doors around the listings, buy a subscription to a database of FSBOs and expireds, and start calling people. So all about prospecting, all about getting off your behind and making stuff happen. You're never going to do anything if you're not prospecting and talking to people and interacting with the community and doing all those things. That's what top producers do. Bill, do you have any takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's all good stuff. Were we going to touch base on the social media, or you want to do that another time?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Let me pull up, because I do have a good example. Let me pull that one up for you. Thanks for reminding me, Bill.
Yeah, I just think that was one thing that I don't think we covered in that long laundry list of what successful agents do. And I think,
it was basically like a, we touched on it as a note, but yes, let's take a look at, most of the top agents, they have a strong social media presence. So this is, and how do you know this agent, Katrina Smith?
I actually was originally going to partner with her and her brokerage. She's a broker at Pinpoint Properties here in Newport Beach. And she, was asking for a lender partner. Well, at the time, we didn't have a jumbo investor. Right. And since the price points obviously down here in Newport and the peninsula are so high, it's really that's the tool that you really need. So at the time, I just said, hey, let's reconnect down the road when I feel like I can service your clients with the right products and be, of value to you. So I just kind of politely just said, hey, let's reconvene. And that was, several years ago. But what I've done is I just follow her because I think she does an amazing job with her social media, putting out little short videos. She's got, and she also does little instructional, stuff where she explains like a certain scenario, and I think I gave you 3 examples. And I think if you have those, I'd love to play those for everybody so they can just get an idea and get a feel.
Did you email those to me, Bill?
Instagram.
Okay.
Sent those to the Alta.
That's right. It was Instagram. That's what it was.
And if it's a hassle, we can go through it next week. But she does a really outstanding job of identifying the communities in the greater area that she works, which is Corona Del Mar, is pretty much her, her sphere, or where she focuses. She's done over 50 million this year in sales. She's had a great year. She has a team that she works with, so she's scaled her business a little bit. She's got a couple gals that work with her, and I really do like how she'll explain stuff that is valuable. And talking about things of value, can just be a simple, just information from your brain,
Yeah. And notice on, when we were on her videos here, these look 6 seconds, a minute. These are not long videos. She knows that she's only got a couple of seconds. None of these are more than a minute, right? Look at that. Always just little blips. Hey, I'm Katrina. Here's a little tidbit, So that's really, really an important thing too. So is there, did you want me to play one of these, bud?
Yeah, I think I sent you 3. 2 of them were like of like sub communities within Corona Del Mar. And then the other one was an example of her explaining about perceived, I think it's about distressed property or properties being sold at auction and the difference. And I thought it was really a nice little piece that she did explaining the difference and how it gets confused.
Cool. Let's check this out.
We're going to go through Spyglass Hill here in Corona Del Mar. Spyglass is really known for its views. It sits atop the highest elevation within Corona Del Mar, and many of the homes here offer sweeping ocean, coastline, canyon, and city views. It's a private and quiet setting for those who want to feel their home is a retreat. It's also a quick drive or even walk to all the best surrounding attractions like Fashion Island, world-class beaches, and scenic hiking trails. We're going to go through Spyglass.
Not bad.
So that one is good because she does a great job. She talks about Spyglass in that short video, gives a fun fact about it's the highest point within the city. Background music, drone footage, great job.
I mean, spot on. And remember, super quick. These cannot be long. Nobody has the bandwidth these days, right?
No, and it's super easy to create. You know.
Yeah. You know, she does these ones I know she does with her iPhone, right?
Yeah, and, minus the drone footage and stuff she's probably doing for listings. I mean, so she's leveraging, and that's one thing that we have to remember is when we take listings and we invest in the photography or the drone footage, use those and other things to leverage, get your money's worth, and put these little videos together.
Exactly. We spend so much money on really high quality photography. Got to use those images just in your social media feeds, in your
to build your brand.
Build your brand. That stuff that should just be funneled out. And then what does that do? Obviously, that tells the next potential client what you've already done, how you already do things, so they know. I mean, just looking at this person, she's professional. This is what she does. This is not just like some little side thing that she's doing.
Yeah, and Kev, play the other one where she's sitting at the, I think that one, yeah.
This one, okay.
Real estate sales. When a property gets listed as an auction sale, it can be confusing because people automatically associate that with distress. And that may not be the case at all. So there's two different categories of auctions. The first is when a homeowner falls into default, their lender goes through the foreclosure process and the property may end up in a courthouse style public auction where buyers can come and bid all cash on the property. And this is typically what people think of when they hear the term auction, but there's a completely separate category of non-distressed auction sales. And these are done for marketing purposes. So usually these are when a property's been sitting on the market for a very long time, it's not selling, the homeowner enlists a auction company to try to boost a sense of urgency around the property and get it sold more quickly. I'm not a huge fan of this avenue because it assumes that the buyer that's willing to pay the highest price is going to go through all the extra hoops it takes to get registered for the auction, that they're going to show up on a particular date or narrowed window of time. These type of auctions also have a tendency to attract lowball buyers. And at the end of the day, the seller still holds the cards with what they will and will not accept an ultimate sale price. So anyway, those are the two different types of auction sales. I want to give you the insight.
Perfect. Just so quick, so to the point, and very informative. She's not wasting anybody's time.
No, I enjoy listening to her her stuff. Like I said, I follow her on Instagram. If anybody wants to get follow her as well, just to get ideas. That's not a bad idea. So I just think there's something to that. And like you said, Kevin, she's very professional. She knows what she's talking about, and she knows real estate.
So again, getting back to I think the very first thing that we said is, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can listen to what she's saying, and you can basically do the same thing. Go through her Facebook channel, go through her Instagram, listen to the stuff that she's saying, and copy it. You could just be like a parrot, right? And then you send it out to your people. So it's not very hard, but that was a really good example, Bill. So yeah, social media presence is obviously a paramount thing for top producing real estate agents.
Yeah, and she's not afraid to use her sales, use her experience, use her knowledge to show her wide range of skill set in the real estate business. And that's ultimately going to build your reputation and build your brand and show that you're the expert, which you talk at nauseam about, Kevin.
Yep, I do. 53 million in sales this year. Nice work, Katrina. So she's doing things very, very correctly. If I were you, I would copy things that she does.
That's it.
No, all
If I
good
can
stuff,
add
guys.
to that real quick.
Of course, Travis.
So I think that what she's doing is a really great way to build business, especially if you don't have any business going on or you have a very limited or no budget. You can, I tell agents all the time, they're like, I don't have any business going on. I don't have anything to market. I said, well, go do some community videos. There's, you know, God knows how many areas in every city that could have a little dedicated blurb, just like she did on Spyglass. And it's very easy to put together, even if you're just, you know, talking about it in your car or something like that. Like anything will work and you'll get better at it. And if you're new to an area, it's super beneficial to do this because you actually force yourself to do a little bit of research on the community before talking about it. When I first got started in the business, I was actually in Las Vegas, and I learned a little bit of SEO pretty early, and I did a lot of content stuff on my website about every track home that was around me, and it was really beneficial for me because I could literally drive down a street and I knew who the builder was. I knew they had 4 models in there. I knew what the models were because I wrote about it. I had photos and, you know, floor plans and stuff like that. And because I was doing the SEO work, that's how I actually generated a lot of leads. Like social media wasn't what it is now back then. So there's a lot of, you know, people usually from California searching Las Vegas, and that's how they found me. So I did a ton of investment sales in my first few years just from out-of-state people because they would find my website easily. But this is no different. I mean, you can keyword all of this stuff on your YouTube, very easy to find. You're putting it on your social media, and it doesn't cost a dime. It's literally prospecting if you're doing it correctly and leveraging it. So with little to no money.
Absolutely, and then you can combine that with, you know, here's Greg, one of our new agents, and he's done a phenomenal job with his website creating the specific community pages, and he does business in 2 different areas. He's got a job down in San Diego and he lives in the Inland Empire, so he's got these 2 different areas. And so just like Travis said, you can go around, you can create these cool little community videos, and then guess what? You can embed that video right here on your community page, and that has massive SEO implications. So very good point, Travis. Well, agents, I know we went way over today, but it's just such good stuff to be thinking about and going over. So Bill, thanks so much for your insight today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It was good webinar. Covered a lot of territory today.
Yeah, and Travis, always appreciate your insight as well.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys,
Well,
agents. That's exactly right. That is why we're here. So agents, get out there, make it a great week and a productive week, and we'll see you guys next week on the webinar, and I'm really looking forward to that one as well. Bye-bye, guys.